Gentlemen, today we are going to talk about the best positions to help a woman reach climax. This is not speculation or hearsay. It is supported by real research. I know that when you are with a woman, ultimately you want to give her the best experience possible. But what does the science actually say about this? And how can you position yourself in a way that maximizes her pleasure? In this video, I will break down the two positions that research shows produce the most consistent results and the reasons why they are so effective. There is also one popular position that science surprisingly shows is far less likely to get her there. Some common positions that men enjoy do not provide enough pressure on the clitoral region or unintentionally create emotional disconnection, preventing a woman's body from reaching the activation threshold it needs. And I need to be honest, I was a bit disappointed when I heard the final finding, but we will understand why these two positions work and why that one does not. When you understand the right mechanism, it becomes easy to see why the two positions rated highly in research work so well, and why the familiar position is much less effective than many people assume. I am Dr. Julia Hart, your trusted men's health advisor, and make sure you pay close attention, because the position I reveal at the end is the one most men assume is the guaranteed winner, yet science says otherwise. If you want to understand what actually works for women's pleasure, hit the subscribe button because we are going into real science today. All right, let us begin with the first position that science shows works consistently, the standard missionary position with a pillow under her hips. Now, I have talked about this before, but let me explain why it works so well. We have identified two essential factors, which are emotional connection and dual stimulation. So how do you combine these two elements perfectly? The first position that science shows consistently works is the traditional missionary position, but with a pillow placed under her hips. You may think this position is too basic, but the secret lies in the pillow and your movement. When you are on top of a woman and she has a pillow elevating her hips, you create the perfect angle for dual stimulation. First, let us talk about the connection aspect. Whenever you look into each other's eyes, it creates an incredible emotional bond. And for women, emotional connection amplifies physical pleasure. But now let us talk about the scientific part. When you are on top of her and you are grinding forward and backward, not only thrusting in and out but also grinding, you are contacting a very special area, her clitoris. When you can stimulate her clitoris while penetrating her at the same time, you create what I call dual action stimulation. You must understand that the clitoris is the primary pathway to orgasm for most women. When you can create strong friction and pressure on the clitoral region while still maintaining penetration, you are accessing her full pleasure potential. Studies have confirmed that many women achieve orgasm when the man on top uses a grinding motion thanks to the angle created by the pillow. The key here is the grinding motion, not a simple thrusting motion. You must create intentional friction on the clitoral area. This position works because it is profoundly simple and effective. It blends the intimacy of eye contact with the precision of biological mechanics. It turns a position that may seem boring or outdated into a winning formula backed by science. Missionary with the pillow is a solid foundation, but to keep the fire alive and to ensure she always sees you as an attractive and powerful man, you need variety. This variety is not only enjoyable, but is also a signal of confidence. And this confidence factor, along with the second winning position, is what we are going to analyze right now, before I reveal the position that men love but fails miserably at helping women reach climax. Clitoral stimulation is the deciding factor. The clitoris contains more than 8,000 nerve endings, which is twice as many as the penis. It is the center of female orgasm. Traditional penetration often does not provide enough friction or pressure to this area. She is receiving clitoral stimulation, which is how most women reach climax, combined with penetration. And when you put both of those together, it is extremely powerful. This research confirms that many women can reach climax when the man on top with a pillow beneath uses grinding against the clitoris. The key here is the grinding motion, not just thrusting. You want to create friction and pressure on her clitoral region while you are inside her. That combination is what makes this position so effective. Now, the second position that science shows consistently works is when a woman is on top of you, leaning forward. Once again, what is she doing? She is facing you. She is leaning toward you. You are inside her, and there is that facial connection. This position works effectively not because all the control belongs to her, but because it still maintains our dual stimulation formula, while also tapping into a powerful psychological element in women. First, it fulfills the element of face-to-face connection and angle. When she is on top of you and leaning forward, the two of you can still lock eyes, strengthening emotional intimacy. At the same time, the forward-leaning angle creates a perfect position for her lower abdomen, including her clitoris, to rub directly against you. Second, it involves agency and energy. I know some men do not like this position because they feel they have less control, but this is how you turn it into a psychological advantage and maximize her pleasure. There is something about that angle when she is on top that works extremely well. Now, I know some men are not big fans of this position because they feel less in control, but here is how you can make it even better. When she is on top of you and leaning forward, place your hands on her hips on each side and begin guiding her movement. Use gentle force to pull her deeper, hold her there, and then guide her outward in rhythm. Pull her into you with intention. This responsible guiding motion does something powerful for women psychologically. It taps into the primal part of the brain where we want to feel desired, wanted, and led. So when she is on top of you, when you are inside her, and she is leaning toward you, there is the power of maintaining eye contact and creating deep connection. This controlled and guiding movement creates a strong psychological impact on women. It reaches the instinctive part of the brain, where she wants to feel desired, led, and confidently held by a man. The shift from being passive to being actively guided by your hands creates psychological stimulation that amplifies physical pleasure. Now here is the push. This is clearly supported by science, but it is also the reality from someone who has worked with thousands of men and women in sexual health. Although these two positions can help her reach climax, they can become repetitive over time. That is why variety matters. Not every position delivers the same level of intensity for her, but here is where it becomes important. Variety keeps things exciting. It keeps the fire burning. It keeps spontaneity alive because she does not know what you will do next. When you confidently move her body into different positions, that sense of improvisation is incredibly attractive. It makes her see you as masculine, as the one in charge, confident. When you begin shifting positions throughout intimacy, it creates excitement and keeps things from becoming predictable. The two positions I shared with you create connection and consistent results. Connection is beautiful and important, but to be honest, women also want passion, intensity, and variety. We want that unexpected moment, that position that feels raw and exciting. So use the two scientifically supported positions as your foundation to help her finish. But do not hesitate to mix in other positions to create excitement and passion. Now, here is one important thing that affects all of this: blood flow. Because no matter what position you are in, if blood does not flow properly to the genitals, stimulation and climax become much more difficult. Pleasure and erectile ability in both men and women are based on erectile tissue. This tissue must be filled with blood to achieve maximum sensation and pleasure. As we age, the production of nitric oxide, the vasodilator that relaxes and widens blood vessels, decreases. Poor blood flow not only affects your erection but also reduces the engorgement of clitoral tissue, making stimulation and orgasm more difficult for her. This means that in order to optimize the two science-based positions we have discussed, you must support your own blood flow through nutrition, movement, and supplements that contain L-citrulline, the precursor to nitric oxide. Good blood flow not only ensures stronger erections for you, but also produces more intense sensation for your partner. And here is the issue. Let me make this very clear. I am going to tell you what this position is. And you may think, wait, Dr. Hart, that cannot be right because when I use that position, she is making noises. She likes it. She tells me to keep going. Yes, she is feeling the intensity of penetration. Does she necessarily reach orgasm in this position? Most likely not. But that does not mean she is not aroused or physically pleasured, because she absolutely is. However, when it comes to actually reaching climax, the science shows that it does not reliably happen. In fact, this position is recorded as having the lowest orgasm rate in studies. Have you guessed it yet? It is doggy style. According to research, this is the position where women are least likely to achieve orgasm. Why? Because two important elements are missing. The first is face-to-face connection. When she is turned away, she cannot see your eyes, your facial expressions, or your body. Emotional and visual connection play a major role in female arousal. And here is the more crucial scientific reason. Her clitoris is not being stimulated in this position. Now, of course, you can reach around and stimulate it manually, but that does not happen naturally within the position itself. The clitoris is the key to female climax. When you can create dual stimulation, clitoral and internal, that is when women reach their highest peak. But in this position, the clitoris receives no natural stimulation, and when she does not get that stimulation, she is far less likely to finish. So do not feel disappointed if she does not climax when you are in that position. Now you know why the climax does not happen, because there is no clitoral stimulation and no direct connection. Here is the bottom line. The two positions that science shows are most effective for female climax are Missionary with a pillow under her hips and the woman leaning forward on top. Both provide clitoral stimulation and face-to-face connection. The position least likely to bring her there, doggy style, misses both of those elements. But remember, variety still matters. Use these two positions as the foundation to help her finish, but incorporate other positions to create excitement, passion, and keep everything feeling fresh. And support your body's natural blood flow with proper nutrition and circulation support, so everything functions the way it should. Try these insights the next time you are intimate and pay attention to how she responds. Notice the difference when you focus on clitoral stimulation and connection. That is when everything changes. Apply these insights and observe her response. That is the moment everything shifts. If this video has given you a science-based strategy you have never heard before, hit the subscribe button right now and leave a comment telling me what surprised you the most.